Jeez. Pretty sure I figured out why everything wasn't really working out the way I wanted to. A space mammoth, how are you? That's an awesome name. Space mammoth. I think I figured out why the audio was only coming into one side. And it should be good now. It should be good now. And it turns out that on my, what is it called? OBS, for some reason I had everything to the right side. But that is not putting this. There we go. Well, hello. How y'all doing today? So, today I want to look into just we'll go over some animal news. I like to look into this stuff normally, and I'll do videos on it, but I figured we'd dive into it and just go and see if we can find anything interesting that's happened either right now or over the past little bit of time, and just go over it. How's everyone's day going? And again, I hope that the audio is fixed, because I messed around with my OBS, and I think I figured out why people were saying it was only coming in from the right side. So that should be good now. But let's see, anything good in. These experts are trying to save the endangered Florida panther. All right, let's check this out. Here's how experts are trying to save the endangered Florida panther. So from my understanding, and what I do know about the efforts that have gone into this, they brought a few cougars from West Texas. Hey, awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. They brought a few cougars from West Texas. Cougars from West Texas over, and only let them breed for like a season or so, and then took them out just to kind of help add to the gene pool, because the genes were very low, which is not good. Certain species it's alright, but not in the cougars. And so this is just a video.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
Alright, let's hear what this has to say.
Currently, our panther population, well, we don't know the exact number. It's somewhere estimated under 230. And majority of that population is all in South Florida. That population, as it continues to grow, they're going to need more space.
So panthers have pretty large ranges, and in fact, they especially the males have.
That's one of the biggest problems we have right now, is that I don't know how many people have seen it, but there was that documentary that came out not too long ago. I believe it was on Apple TV. It was called Path of the Panther or something. I think it was Path of the Panther. And there was this group of scientists who were looking at how far north the cougars had gotten, and at least with the females, and like none had gotten north of the Caloosahatchee River. And I guess they had documented the first cougars in the Babcock Ranch, which is just north of the Caloosahatchee, but they had documented females there, which that's a good thing. That means they're traveling out, because the males, they'll be roaming males. There are males who've gotten all the way to Georgia. And they're starting to be seen in Tampa now, so maybe that's what they're talking about here.
Territories, and so one threat we see to Florida panthers is something they call interest-specific aggression. Basically, if panthers are squeezed into an area that's too small, they'll fight each other and can even kill each other. When we put the squeeze on panthers with our development, it's not
Tampa.
just destroying places to live.
Ew.
It's not just creating roads that create a risk of them getting hit by cars. It's not bottlenecking them into the south. It's also this risk of just squeezing them together to the point where they can't even live with each other.
So there's a large plan for the state of Florida to have a connecting corridor all the way from the north to the south, so that it's conservation land that animals, not just panthers, but all animals, can travel throughout the entire state.
That's important.
And not have to worry
Very
about
important.
that human-animal conflict.
At the Florida Department of Transportation, we are adding many wildlife crossings throughout our district and across the state, again, to help protect endangered species such as the Florida panther. And in order to help, get them off the endangered species list, we have to cross them, cross the Coos River to get them, to expand northward. We have mostly underpass crossings where the road goes up and over and wildlife go underneath. And then with that, we have several different design types. It could be just a culvert, which is, just a box culvert. We could do a larger bridge, or a bridge that has shelves on both sides that allow the wildlife to use either side of a river or creek that may be there. So we've done several of those different design types.
So I think the Florida Wildlife Corridor is an incredible blueprint that we've set up. It's identified
This is going up.
These
types of things are going up everywhere too. I forgot how much money it was. It was like $350 million or something like that was set aside from a budget that passed a few years ago to build more of these corridors. And if anyone, I don't know if these flowers are just in Florida or what. These white flowers with a little yellow in them, they grow everywhere. I got a bunch in my backyard, and they have these little tiny, like, almost looks like, I don't know how to, very skinny seeds with like two prongs at the end, and they stick. They'll stick to your socks like crazy. They're easy to get off, luckily, but they are a pain in the butt. But everything eats them. What's sad is I was part of a hunting club here in Florida, and someone saw a panther or a large cat, and you wouldn't believe how many people said they'd shoot it if they got a chance. They might say that, but actually to do it, the amount of trouble you'd get in for shooting a wild cat like that, you're pushing your luck with that. But that's sad to hear.
to protect for large, far-ranging species like the panther. But it's important to note that that corridor isn't fully protected yet. It's a vision. And so it's really important that we take that vision and we pay attention, and our local governments and our state governments adopt smart growth policies to make sure that we can continue to grow and support our human populations. It could benefit a lot of rare and really...
It's definitely something that as we continue to grow infrastructure-wise, we need to keep that in mind. Wildlife corridor... That's one of the biggest things that I think is important moving forward is, like, a lot of places are reintroducing animals, and yes, reintroductions are probably okay in some circumstances, but I think the bigger thing should be making sure that wildlife that do live in certain areas have enough land to actually live on. So like building these wildlife corridors that connect these different areas are probably a better option than re-releasing certain animals, because if you re-release an animal, it's not going to matter at all how many you release if they don't have anywhere to live or any way to get to those areas, and they're just getting hit by cars constantly. A new crossing on Interstate 4 near the State Road 57 interchange in Polk County is near completion, and more than a dozen are in the works. Well, yeah, because Florida panthers are basically getting cut off for the most part at I-4, which is the interstate that connects Tampa to Orlando. Especially near like Lakeland. There are a bunch of panthers that are spotted near Lakeland. Of course, they're males for the most part, but there are so much land north of there that they'd be able to access. I mean, not just bears, or not just panthers, but bears as well. I just, that's the thing that needs to be really focused on is protecting land. You have to have areas that are guaranteed never to be built on, so that the animals at least have a place to go and then a way to get to those places. And if we can focus on that, I think that's going to be a way better option than just reintroducing. I mean, you can do that as well, but you need to be able to have areas for these animals to live.
incredible species we have here in the state.
We would love for them to continue throughout the entire state of Florida. It'd be amazing to see them go back to their natural range all the way to Louisiana, but we definitely need to start right here in Florida.
Cool. Well, let's hope that happens because, let's see, wildlife bridges, the wildlife crossings, there was a bill. Passed the New York Wildlife Crossing bill. Yeah, a bunch of states are doing it as well. The infrastructure. November of 20. Okay, this is it. In November of 2021, Congress passed the Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act, now referred to as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, which includes an array of provisions related to conserving fish and wildlife. One of the most exciting elements of this historic legislation is a $350 million competitive grant program called the Wildlife Crossing Pilot Program. This is the first ever dedicated federal funding for structures to help fish and wildlife safely pass over and under roads while reconnecting habitat. Additionally, these projects are now eligible for funding from more than a dozen other transportation programs under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. So this, updated on for. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm trying. I'm just, it's this kind of stuff is. I think this is the next step, especially here in the United States where we actually have money to throw at these things. I think it's important to make sure. Literally, that's all I think is the biggest part of all of this. Make sure the certain amount of land is protected for these animals to live, key places for these animals to live, and then give animals the ability to get to those places. So even if it's just a few, we make enough money here in Florida. Florida's doing really well. Make a bunch of bridges connecting these different areas so that these animals can get around. Hey, how you doing? Not much. I mean, we're just going over animal news in general, and they were talking about, a video we just watched was talking about protections for the Florida panther and, things to help them continue to thrive because their numbers need to increase. Well, one of the biggest things that happens is they get hit by cars trying to move to other areas, and I think one of the biggest things that we can do to protect wildlife in general would be to create ways for them to be able to get from one bit of land to the other that normally they would have to cross a road, and these wildlife corridors are a great way to do so, in my opinion. The U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, whatever, the guy who ran for president, Buttigieg, announced a notice of funding opportunity for the Wildlife Crossing Pilot Program, first round of competitive grants, nearly $112 million available. Also, potential applicants will want to check on this new website launched by a coalition of nonprofit organizations, including the Center of Large Landscape Conservation. The site offers free resources for planning effective wildlife crossing projects and taking advantage of all the federal habitat connectivity programs in the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. I agree with the wildlife bridges are going to be our best bet. You can't. There's like a certain amount of. We've already opened Pandora's box. You can't get back a lot of the area that's completely destroyed. Now, I think it would be a great way. I got an idea. What about live panthers on YouTube will provide awareness, security, and income for all animal lovers? Throw money at the problem. What could go wrong? I mean, putting a live stream up, a live feed like they do with the birds' nests is actually a pretty cool idea. I like that idea. I think that could actually work. At least have like a site dedicated to showing these wildlife crossings, or like even having social media sites or like pages dedicated to showing these wildlife crossings working, so people are like, oh, like this is something that actually works. Showing people that these things actually work is a big deal. You could do the live streams, and you can also do, as you said, like have them have their own social media pages. I think that would be a great idea. I think a cool thing you should be able to do as well, is either buying back land that would be turned into development, or buying back land that already is built on but is abandoned areas, and turning them into little wildlife oases, I guess. I mean, the problem with a lot of it is, where's that money going to come from? And hey, Alex, where is that money going to come from? And will it make money? And I think that I think there are live feeds showing some of the areas. Yeah, let's look into that a little bit. Let's see. Wildlife crossing live feeds. Plenty of activity on the live stream of wildlife crossings in the world. Trappers Point Wildlife Overpass webcam. This site looks like it was made in like 2002. Alright, Path of the Pronghorn. Yeah, I mean, tourism might be a decent way to do it. You could definitely have like little, like get some of these parks and stuff set up and have like, I guess little wildlife education centers. I mean, we have plenty of places where there are just like it'll be a little building with some native stuff, and you could definitely do more of that, especially as you said, here in Florida the tourism is a big part of it. So are these all? Oh, these are video highlights of pronghorn moving through. Pronghorn can't jump fences, right? I don't think they can jump fences. That's pretty cool. I've seen pronghorn before, just from a distance. That's cool. So these aren't live streams, they're just little clips of these animals running through. Is that it? That's pretty cool. I wonder if there's more. 101 Wildlife Crossing. The Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing. Oh, that's this is in California. This is a huge one that's under development right now. How come the Everglades don't do that? They do. I mean, I don't think they have like a live, like something you can tune into, but they do have cameras down there. In fact, the video that we were just showing earlier, this one, let me look back into it, because there were bits of the video.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart?
Shut up. I don't want to hear your ad. There's a spot in Hernando Beach. That's an old limestone mine that was converted into a wildlife area. Yeah, that would be nice if they kept on doing stuff like that. But like, there's a bunch of phosphate mines around here that you can't really do anything with them. They're just giant pits in the ground that are like, that nothing can grow in. All right, let's see. Where are the video? Oh, like right here. These are videos from underneath these overpasses in the Everglades. That's like, these are from Alligator Alley. And when you pass over Alligator Alley, what's up, Shake Worldwide? When you pass over Alligator Alley, there's like literally like little bridges, and that's what these guys are going under right now, are these little overpasses. And you see, it's just part of the overpass that's opened up from one side to the other, so the animals can pass over. Look at the size of that Florida deer. That's a giant 6-point. That's a giant Florida deer. But yeah, I mean, there are these live streams that do. I I don't know if you can just tune into them. Just to let you guys know, sharks are considered fish. They are not reptiles. I was very confused. I thought they were reptiles. Thank you for letting me know. Wildlife crossings restore ecosystems that had been fractured and disrupted. They reconnect lands and species that are aching to be whole. I believe these crossings go beyond conservation towards kind of environmental rejuvenation that is long overdue. I don't disagree with that. But this is going up in California right now. Oh, follow construction progress real life on our webcams. So this is a webcam right now of this being built. Last 30 days. Let's see this. Oh, this is literally going up right now. Look at that. Okay. That's pretty cool. So what this is going to do is, this is obviously a really busy road. It's going to start up here and end right here. It's like, I think it's going to go across this whole little section here, so that like the cougars that cross it are able to get from one point to the other. Look at that. Coyotes. Oh, P-22 is that one that was stuck in that park. I thought they were marsupial. I wasn't sure. I was confused. But this is what it's supposed to look like. Wait. We're excited to enter the land. So yeah, it's literally just going to look like a continuous little bit of land for these animals to cross over in a very busy area. And then there's a tunnel going under. Pretty cool. Yeah, more of these, for sure. This is something that California is doing right. If you're from California, I don't mean disrespect. This is a good thing. Well, I kind of mean disrespect. Just a little bit. Knock some sense into your politicians, Californians. The power to vote is up to you. You know, leaving dead timber on the ground is partially why you're having these giant forest fires. You know, I know you guys don't like Florida too much, but Florida at least does that somewhat right. With the controlled burning, that is. Alright. Well, that's for that same bridge. Wildlife road cams and remote cameras. That's Canada. Animal Crossing. Oh, that's a game. Never mind. I don't want to go. No! I don't want to go on Twitch. No. 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 We don't need to go and destroy our eyes with Twitch. I get it. Our mountain lions are always getting ran over on the highways. Yeah. They are, unfortunately. I mean, it happens here, too, in Florida, with the Florida Panthers. Yeah, I don't see too many. Let's see. Utah Wildlife Bridge camera. I don't see too many live streams. I mean, this is one. Okay, look at that. A moose is using it. So, like, I mean, stuff like this works. There's a bear. There's another moose. And this is a small bridge, too. We got a porcupine. Looks like a ground squirrel. Another moose. There's moose in Utah? I didn't know that. That's a elk, I think. There's a mountain lion. Another ground squirrel. He doesn't know the difference between a panther and a puma. Well, do you want to play this game? You, sir, are doom. I get what you're doing there. All right. The difference between a panther and a puma. Panthers are big cats. The Pantherus genus are big cats. So of anything that's a panther, lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards, Did I get that? I think lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards. What other big cats? There's probably something else that I'm forgetting. But those are technically considered panthers. Pumas, what you're referring to as a puma, is a mountain lion. Sometimes they're called panthers. We have the Florida panther. Even though technically panthers, or mountain lions, are not big cats. Neither are cheetahs. They're not big cats. They're not the Panthera genus. I know the difference. He thinks a panther is a black mountain lion. No, I don't. The biggest challenge, there is no such thing as a black mountain lion. There's no such thing as a black mountain lion. The biggest challenge for wildlife corridors is cost. It really should be done with the initial building projects. Doing so afterwards almost triple. I completely agree. Whenever they do any sort of new construction, they need to keep the wildlife corridors in mind. 100%. I agree there wholeheartedly. Will animal parents start teaching their babies about the safe paths? I mean, it'll eventually become ingrained in them. I believe so. That it would make sense. But these animals are obviously using them. Toilet paper roll under the seat. Okay. I don't want to know. Cameras at Parley's Canyon Wildlife Overpass. So there are... Oh, this is the Utah one again. So there are a few of these. Let's see. Wildlife Corridor live streams. Gorilla Forest Corridor Cam. Pennsylvania encounters all walks of life crossing log bridge. I don't see many of them. So there's not really much of this going on. So here's an African one. Oh. I want to see what's going on in Africa right now. Bunch of bugs. Oh, I forgot it's dark. Alright, nothing going on at this one. Let's see. Can we... That would be fun to watch for a while. Let's see, here's another one. A gorilla thing. They're watching gorillas. Is that a gorilla right there? Sleeping? I've seen FWC game cam footage of corridor crossings. Yeah, there are some, but they need to do more of like a live stream thing / having social media about it. All right, well that's pretty cool. I mean, there are some of these going on, but it's not a live stream. Yeah, those are the 4 panthers. Yes, tiger, lion, jaguar, 3 or 4 species of leopards or genera Panthera. When they say Florida panthers, they're speaking in a mispigmented jaguars, the black variety. Yeah, that's I know. When they say Florida panther, no, Florida panther is what our mountain lion is called. They call it a Florida panther. It's not in the Panthera genus. You're right about that. But we're not, when we say Florida panther, we're not talking about black cats or in particular black jaguars. It's just a jaguar with melanism. Like that's, we're talking about different things. Let's see, Florida panther. I understand that, see, like they call it the Florida panther, but it's not in the panther genus. I know it genus. It's a puma. That's the genus, because I just read it right there. It's Jacksonville Jaguars. Teams they are referring to, jaguars, used to be native to Florida. By the way, the band Pantera took their name from this. I didn't know that about the band. From my understanding, jaguars didn't make it as far as Florida. I don't think they did. But that's also not how the Jacksonville Jaguars got their name. Because it wasn't not from my understanding. What classification of animals is the skunk ape? Not real. That's the classification. I don't think it's real, but I mean, I could be wrong. But cool. So at least some wildlife corridors are going up. It's a good thing. I did talk about this. The new they're moving another species of lizard to endangered, which is good. It doesn't feel as cuddly as it looks. Who rescued a raise a lioness cub in African savanna. How experts try to save the Florida panther. South Carolina traffic brought to standstill after bear wanders onto freeway. Bear stops traffic in California freeway. Deep sea squid latches onto camera. Ooh. Oh, that thing is huge. I'd like to believe that Bigfoot is real, but I don't see the evidence for it. I mean, sorry, I just don't think it's real. Brother, we're saying the Florida panther brother are guaranteedly black jaguars in Florida. Read up on it. You'll see the jaguars and melanated variety were absolutely in Florida. All right. Let's see. Jaguar historic range, because there would be fossil evidence of stuff like that. The historic range of jaguars. Should we go to Reddit? I know what you're talking about. I don't believe they made it as far as Florida. They made it, I believe, as far as Louisiana. Every image I've seen never shows jaguars as far east or farther east than Louisiana. Were jaguars ever in Florida? Until about 10,000 years ago. 10,000 years. How are snow leopards doing? They're I don't think they're doing too well. We can check that out in a second. So, like, 10,000 years ago, sure, but not any time recently. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I guess you can make the claim that because they were here 10,000 years ago during the Pleistocene. Is that what that is? See, the fossil record shows jaguars, American lions, cheetahs, lynx, puma, and ocelots occurred alongside saber-toothed cats until 10,000 years ago. So, no time, like, sure, there were people here, like, that long ago. I believe so. But, like, if you want to get, like, when Europeans came over, they weren't widely distributed, but they had isolated positions in Florida. You're right, they were definitely in Louisiana, too. They loved the swamps. It's similar to the habitat in Central America. Yeah, I agree with you there. I just don't think in modern times. In modern times, I'm basically talking about from, like, when Europeans first arrived onward. There were no, like, it's been literally 10,000 years since, you know, it said that jaguars were in Florida. So, I mean, technically speaking, sure. Hey, Rusty, how you doing? Let's see. How are snow leopards doing? Let's see. Although snow leopards recently had its status changed by the IUCN from endangered to vulnerable, snow leopard populations may still be dwindling across parts of their range. Well, Snow, that's a good thing. It's apparently they're doing all right. If they're able to change that classification. Thanks for the knowledge. I eat this kind of stuff up. Well, I am glad because I enjoyed this stuff, and I figured part of the reason I started doing this is because I enjoyed this stuff too. And I know there's a lot of live streamers out there, but I saw one guy who was doing live streams on like fish related stuff, and he was posting clips, and I'm like, why don't I just do like animal related stuff? Why not? There's got to be somebody who's doing it. So, hiking the trails in northern Pakistan in the 1970s, WCS senior conservationist George Scheller spotted a snow leopard 150 feet away. Wisps of cloud whirled around. Today, the snow leopard remains ghost-like. Only 4,000 to 10,000 animals left. Stretched across one of the planet's last great wildernesses, the vast hills of Asia, which cover 3 million square kilometers. Although snow leopards recently had its status changed by IUCN from endangered to vulnerable, snow leopard populations may still be dwindling across parts of their range. Poaching, both for its skin and its traditional medicine, is a growing threat. So is the loss of its natural prey species, mostly mountain goat and sheep, damage to its fragile high elevation habitat, and lack of awareness amongst local communities and governments of the snow leopard status and threats. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, I treasure the snow leopards so much. Yeah, they're beautiful, and they're more closely related to tigers than they are leopards. But they're just called leopards because of their size. But from my understanding and the way conservation tends to work is that there's many animals that will never get back to the status that they once were. That you can never have as many snow leopards as there used to be. It's just not going to happen in the modern age. But you can get to a point where any animal species is not under threat of its population being completely wiped out and destroyed. So even though that they might have had a historic home range, the same thing with think about the wolves in Colorado or the wolves in the lower 48. Gray wolves are not endangered of going extinct. There are subspecies that might be like the red wolf. There's not many of them left, but like gray wolves are not endangered of going extinct. In certain parts of their range, like they were just reintroduced to Colorado, that population could easily be wiped out. 100%, it could be. But in other parts of the lower 48, like the Great Lakes region, there are plenty of gray wolves there. There are literally so many of them that they have hunting seasons for them. Because of the conservation efforts and the amount of like the way everything works with conservation, now that they are being like, unless like a disease wipes them all out in a very short time or some crazy natural disaster, those animals will be just fine. They're not going to go extinct because we got to that point where we started caring about wildlife beforehand. A lot of species that were wiped out in like the 1900s, it's unfortunate that they couldn't hold on, or they didn't get wiped out after that time. Because if they were around today, if you get past a certain point and those breeding populations are on the rebound, like the condor is a good example. The population of condors is going up pretty steadily, and you give it another 10, 15 years. I mean, think of the situation with alligators. Alligators were almost wiped out in the 80s, and now they're doing really well. And they're never going to go extinct now because of the way conservation works. It's awesome that snow leopards have made it out of endangered. Do you know any endangered animals in Utah, particularly northern Utah? I'll have to look that up. What's the physical difference between gray and timber wolves? I do not know. That's a good question. Do a lot of hyper-realistic art of them. Really? Well, if you want to share that, go check out the Discord and send some pictures through the Discord. I'm sure they would love to see that. You're right, there are only 5 species of panther, lion, tiger, jaguar, and 2 leopards, snow leopard, and common leopards. Okay, so I was right about that. I was trying to think if I thought I was missing one. How are the Vancouver Island marmots doing? That's a good question. I'll have to look that up. So, let's see. Difference between timber and gray wolves. Let's see. Gray wolf living in a forested area might be called a timber wolf, while a gray wolf living in tundra might be called a tundra wolf. While they may be known from different names in different places, they are still the same species from a taxonomic perspective. Okay, so It's just where they live and what people call them. There's no difference in them. I have heard of these other types of wolves before, but they're all just gray wolves. They might have difference in sizes and stuff, but genetically they're very similar. How are the Vancouver Island marmots? Let's see. Vancouver Island marmots. Linked invitation has expired. Well, that's dumb. Well, let me put a link to the Discord in chat. Alright, let's see. Here's a link to the Discord right there. Yeah, they're the same thing. They're just I thought they were I thought they were all considered, because like that's one of the problems when they were like taking the or when that bill was passed through Congress to take gray wolves off the endangered species list. Mexican gray wolves and the red wolf were not on that, and technically there's like a fight between whether they should be considered a different species or not, but they can interbreed and everything. Species is a very difficult thing. They're not different enough. So again, that link for Discord is in the chat right there. I've debated with my uncle several times now. Can let him know what's up. Nice. So the Vancouver Island Marmot Recovery Program, saving species from extinction one animal at a time. Canada's most endangered mammal. The Vancouver Island marmot is a remarkable animal. It is endemic to Canada, one of only a small handful of mammals to occur in this country and nowhere else. Unfortunately, it is also critically endangered. In 2004, fewer than 30 remained in the wild. Recovery efforts by the foundation and our partners have been restoring the population. This is terrible right here. Like, why would you put a gray/white background and white font? Why? That's terrible. Let's see this.
But there were definitely 2 adults in the main meadow and 1 adult up there.
Yeah, and high up in the alpine meadows of Vancouver Island's Mount Arrowsmith lives one of the world's rarest mammals, the Vancouver Island marmot.
That almost looks like a stuffed animal.
We only
They're
find
so
Vancouver
fluffy.
Island marmots on Vancouver Island. They're really hardy. They live in really harsh conditions. As you can see around you, it's pretty rugged around here. They've got some pretty fearsome predators like cougars and eagles. They're only above ground for 5 months of the year, and in that time they've got to breed, rear their young, and then put on enough body condition so that they can last the next winter and then do it all over again. So they're quite amazing animals. But
they are pretty for a marmot.
Under quite a lot of threat from a number of different angles. Landscape level changes are probably the biggest factor. There's a lot of human encroachment on these wild spaces, and that can bring predators. It gives them easier access. You can get one cougar that can go into a colony and just wipe them out.
In 2003, there were fewer than 30 of these marmots left in the wild. Since then, they have been bred in captivity and released yearly onto island mountains.
There's been hundreds of marmots bred in captivity and released onto the landscape. And from a low of less than 30 marmots in 2003, currently we've got a population of 150 to 200 marmots.
Oh, nice.
So make sure you can always see your trap and don't leave it unattended.
Part of the problem with situations like this is that when you have so many different subspecies, I mean, technically they're probably considered a different species. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But, like, there are so many different marmots species just based on their geographic range that it can be kind of hard for people to wrap their mind around, well, these marmots are doing fine, so why would we care about that little population of that one animal that's only found in this one spot? And it's kind of hard to get people to see why it's important to protect those animals. Like, we're talking about the wolves. Like, the red wolf or the Mexican gray wolf. Like, why would anybody really care about those particular little subsets of different subspecies? And it's getting people to understand that, like, honestly, I don't think protecting like we're at a point where I think that protecting the environment is like that they live in is it just as if not more important than like when these animals are in very like huge trouble, like their populations are so low, it's very important to protect that animal and make sure there's breeding programs 100%. But you need to also protect the environment they live in, because there's more than just them living there. And if sometimes you can use one animal that's on the decline as a, I hate to say it like this, but as an excuse to protect land, but that's what it is. Sometimes you gotta fight dirty, and like what they did with the that lizard that lives in Texas, where they want to oil drill in like where it lives. Like the only way to protect that land for all the animals that live there is to be like, hey, this lizard only lives here. It's going to go extinct unless we're able to save the land that it lives in. And sometimes that is the only way to get them to protect these areas. Let's see. So, all right. I've got 3 and 2 look like red wolf hybrids or possibly Canis soups. The other one definitely looks like a Mexican gray wolf hybrid. I'm in eastern Texas, and these 3 definitely howl, look, and behave like red wolves and Mexican gray wolves. You're right. People don't understand that almost all wolves on the planet, gray wolves and subspecies of gray wolves, timber wolves, are indeed a gray wolf. The red wolves are basically 25% gray wolf and 75% coyote. I've heard that before. I don't know how much of that. I've heard some people say it's true, some people say it's not, but I have heard that multiple times. I did a series on all the endangered species of Tanzania once for a friend who runs a rescue center there. Nice. I'd love to go to Africa, and I at some point I would like to go there and see some of the animals and, you know, get involved with that. But there's so many places around the world to do that with. I don't know which one I would like to do first. Now, I would like to protect what I have here at my home, and especially in Florida. I would love to work in a sanctuary because they're so precious. Marmots are dope. Yeah, we don't have them here. I've only seen them dead on the side of the road, unfortunately, in like Tennessee. Just like people don't understand that almost all bears are brown bears and subspecies under the brown. Yeah, yep, that's true. They're essentially to the ecosystem and in turn our lives. If you ask me, every creature fulfills a job. If you take the creatures out, there's going to be a particular job that doesn't get done. To an extent, you're right. I mean, I don't disagree with you. But, like, I could make the same argument about mosquitoes. People want to wipe the mosquitoes out because of all the, you know, the diseases they spread. But mosquitoes do just as much pollinating as, like, they do a lot more pollinating than anyone really realizes.
Scientists with the Marmot Recovery Foundation are visiting Mount Arrowsmith for a happy reason. The Mount Arrowsmith marmot colony has been growing faster than anywhere else.
On the hour, every hour. Hikers were seeing marmots on the summit, so we decided to investigate a bit further, and we did a big survey, and we found 30, maybe 35 marmots. So a disproportionately large amount. We're surrounded on 3 sides by cliffs, so I think this place seldom sees predators, and that's why the marmots are doing so well here.
So we're out here trying to trap marmots with the intention of implanting them with radio transmitters. We want to be able to track the marmots and follow them over a course of years to make sure that this colony doesn't show any declines. We can come out and watch for marmots, but it's much easier to get an idea once they have that radio transmitter, so we can follow them around in this rather daunting landscape.
Catching marmots is a delicate task, requiring stealth, cunning, and peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Every rodent loves peanut butter. And yeah, no, absolutely. The female mosquitoes, some male mosquitoes, certain species will bite, but it's very rare. They usually are drinking nectar out of flowers. Need a lot more ladybugs, and they're going in danger too. It also depends on the species and where, but yeah. I mean, everything for the most part is on the decline, unfortunately.
The way we trap marmots, we bait them with peanut butter, which seems to be the favourite food of a Vancouver Island marmot.
That's just a rodent favorite food.
So once we set the trap, we move away from the trap and get a hiding spot, and we observe the trap with binoculars from a distance where the marmot will feel safe. And we can often be watching for days.
My neighbors have killed 5 of my coyotes and wolf hybrids in the past 2 months. I've been feeding 16 nightly for almost 4 years now. I feel like I have to stop feeding them and just let them naturally subsist. Yeah, unfortunately, feeding is not really a good thing for the most part. It can be kind of difficult because I understand what you're doing, but it can be pretty bad. And also, are you sure they're wolf hybrids? Because that might be are there confirmed Mexican gray wolves in your area? You can share it to off topic. That would be fine.
When we transport them for their surgeries, we make sure that they have the least amount of stress as possible.
That's pretty cool. Like that. So they're doing all right, which is good. That's a good thing. Let's see. Deep sea squid latches on the camera. Let's see.
These are the largest known photophores.
Most definitely, as ridiculous as it sounds, I react super badly to the bites, but nonetheless, I really appreciated the job that they accomplished. Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with the bites, but my sister has bad reactions to them.
And it's great to have been able to capture this in 2 points of view as it interacts with the lander. We have also estimated that the squid is approximately 75 centimeters in length. We're so incredibly excited to have been able to capture it.
I'm an American. What is 75 centimeters? 75 centimeters in feet. Okay, almost 2.5 feet long.
Video of this squid.
It's pretty big.
Pacific at 1,026 meters.
Oh, you see the...
days ago. In the slow Pacific at 1,000.
Look at the colors on that.
1,026 meters depth a few days ago.
The bioluminescence.
Footage, you can now clearly see the large photophores in the tips of its 2 arms that produce bioluminescence. The large photophores.
Whoa. It just like blinds the animal like, hey.
In the tips of its 2 arms.
Jesus.
That produce bioluminescence. Most importantly, these are the largest known photophores in the natural world, and it's great to have been able to capture this in 2 points of view as it interacts with the land.
Oh, that's cool, and it like closes them up.
Also estimated able to
look at that! It literally like closes it up.
Interacts with the lander. We have also estimated that the squid is approximately 75 centimeters in length. We're so incredibly excited to have been able to capture a video of this squid.
That is cool, and it doesn't say. Does it say what species it is?
Known photophores in the natural world, and these are the largest known photophores in the natural world, and it's great to have been able to capture this in 2 points of view as it interacts with the lander. We have also estimated that the squid
doesn't say what species it is. That's really cool though. Mama bear chills on swing in British Columbia backyard. Killer whale attacks and sinks 50-foot boat. Spain warns boats of possible orca run-ins this summer. Cougar frightens Washington family in their backyard. Pakistani Phil's babies are named Shadow and Sunny. Speaking of marmots, black ash tree threatened by invasive emerald ash borer. New discovered genus of tiny hornless deer. 3 definitely appear to be wolf hybrids. The 2 definitely look like red wolf hybrids, and it's been confirmed that red wolf hybrids are in this area of Texas. 2003 is the most recent confirmed sighting of red wolves in Texas. Wolves, Texas. Let's see. Formerly, red wolves ranged through the eastern half of Texas, but their numbers and range quickly declined due to intensive land use and human presence in the region. Also, early lumbering and farming practices allowed the coyote to expand its range to East Texas. Hybrid offspring of the interbreeding red wolves and coyotes more closely resembled coyotes, and the genetic identity of the red wolf has gradually suppressed. The last pure group of eastern subspecies of red wolf found along the Gulf Coast south of Houston seems to have been genetically swamped by 1970. The central Texas subspecies of red wolf survived a few more years in extreme southeastern Texas and southern Louisiana. but it subsequently disappeared in the wild. We still get inquiries from Texas citizens who claim to be in possession or have seen a red wolf. The comparison in Table 3 derived mainly from the review of the status and knowledge of the red wolf prepared by blah 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 are useful in distinguishing coyotes from red wolves. To date, none of the reports or specimens have proven to be a red wolf. Okay. Extinct. Red wolves are extinct in the wild in Texas. They were once common. Let's see. Red wolves, Texas sightings. Let's see. Galveston ghost wolves. Town hall to discuss unique coyotes with red wolf DNA. Saw a YouTube short of an adorable little octopus playing bouncy ball with a pink ball. Nice. The rest of the wolves in East Texas are wolf coyote hybrids that were crossbreeds with coyotes, like you were saying, the past few decades. Gotcha.
With Google Workspace,
Freaking ads. Because so there is red wolf DNA in some of these wolves, which is pretty cool.
some recent sightings of coyotes on Galveston have spurred a new interest of a rare animal that has now been confirmed to carry the genetics of an extinct red wolf. Fox 26's photojournalist Darlene Janik Ferris spoke with some of the researchers that will soon be in town to meet with the community.
There is a special place in conservation for these Galveston animals because they each carry some amount of endangered and extinct red wolf DNA.
In 2019, Dr. Brzezinski and Tristan Spinsky and Tanner Barnes came here to do some research, and their primary research area was here in East Beach. We walked over here to this area, East Lagoon area, and there were many, many coyotes that we saw.
There was something very interesting about these animals. But to confirm that suspicion, we sequenced their DNA and compared it to other possible canines and found out that these special fancy coyotes are carrying a substantial amount of red wolf DNA.
What is substantial?
So these Gulf Coast canids, these unique coyotes that have red wolf genetics, and extinct red wolf genetics that now only persist in these individuals, are incredibly important to our understanding of what the historic red wolf was in that region. How do we recover the red wolf?
And every picture that people post here on the island of these animals sparks concern, it sparks curiosity, and we have to give information to be able to take away the concern and make it exciting and fun and enjoyable and a learning environment. And if you want to hear about this, please come to our meeting on the 10th at Booty Gardens.
As
Booty
research
Gardens.
continues, this is one of those.
I've got one that definitely looks to be around 70 to 80 pounds, and he howls like a red wolf hybrid. The other two are easily 60, 70 pounds, and they look just like the ones you were seeing on YouTube.
Opportunities where we actually get to share that information with the public. And that's really what this is about. It's also to discuss how can we as a community conserve such a unique species.
This town hall is to continue the discussion, right? Continue the discussion into the future to make sure that the habitat persists and the coexistence and the community understands and continues.
Well, fortunately for these guys, being part coyote probably helps them survive in this area, because and they're calling them ghost wolves. That's beautiful right there. But coyotes do very well. It says coyotes do very well around people. It says substantial, but what is how much is substantial? Let's see if there's... Could make a comeback. Red wolf DNA found in mysterious Texas canines. Gulf Coast wolves. The ghost wolves. I think they said hybrids contain 10 to 15% gray wolf DNA, gray wolf, red wolf specifically. Gotcha. It's been red wolf. Wait, let's so it says wolves bark, whimper, and growl too, but it's the howl that fascinates us in Texas. The red wolf's howl echoed for the last time across the Forest Plains more than 30 years ago when biologists rounded up the final ragtag group of wolves in a last-ditch effort to save the species. Today, the howls of wild red wolves can be heard only on a marshy peninsula in eastern North Carolina, where they are reintroduced after being declared extinct in the wild. This past summer, I joined about 30 people there for a red wolf howling safari and heard their wild call. It's been a rough journey for America's other wolf, full of cliffhangers and near catastrophes. As a species, it has been to the brink of oblivion and back. Today, the red wolf is an endangered species success story, though many challenges still stand in the animal's way. This year marked the 25th anniversary of its reintroduction to the wild. See, genetically, I would say 2% of a phenotype. Yeah, it's just it's still so muddled out that there's really, I mean, it's cool that it's there, but the ghost wolves it's just like it's like a whisper of their genetics in there. Like a Bigfoot and a skunk ape, but the wolves are real. I mean, the wolves are real. Let's see, Discord. What are you saying about the Discord? Well, I don't know. I mean, at least in Texas, there's no pure red wolves. But North Carolina, how many are there? Less than 20 remain in the wild. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have a wider face. I mean, they just look like small wolves. Coyotes definitely have a different look. I don't think... I mean, that's not many. 20 is not many. So what are they doing to bring them back? Red wolves used to roam through the eastern seaboard from Pennsylvania to Florida and as far west as Texas. Today, North Carolina's Albemarle Peninsula is home to the only confirmed wild red wolves in existence. While red wolves play a vital and unique biological role within their ecosystem, the species has declined more than 85% in the last decade, from roughly 130 to 15 wolves. Habitat loss, wolf vehicle collisions, gunshot mortality, and hybridization with coyotes threatens the future of red wolves in North Carolina. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has made significant advances with its red wolf recovery program in recent years. However, there's still much work beyond the scope of current success. Trapping and relocation efforts in Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge and Poquessing Lakes National Wildlife Refuge will help create new breeding pairs. Red wolf pup introductions will increase genetic diversity, while coyote sterilization will help reduce hybridization, and outreach and education will reduce conflict and grow awareness and acceptance of red wolves in the wild. Through our partnership with USFWS, National Wildlife Refuge Association, working on the ground in Columbia, North Carolina. We operate the Red Wolf Education Health Care Facility to provide educational materials and seminars on red wolves. It also houses a space to conduct regular health checks on wolves and is home to a pair of captive red wolves that you can see in person and watch on our 24-hour live webcam. That's cool. Well, no, definitely not true red wolves, but they definitely are red wolf hybrids. Red wolves aren't big wolves anyway. They're an intermediate sized wolf. One of the smallest wolves, about 70 pounds. Gotcha. This is the red wolf enclosure cam. Riveting. There's caterpillars. Bunch of caterpillars and stuff on this. Where are the wolves? So the camera moves. They're not in their den, and they're not out here. Where are they? I want to see one. Not today, I guess. Interesting. Let's see. What other news is there? Last pandas at any US zoo are are expected to leave Atlanta for China this fall. Okay. Tick season's arrived. California water tunnel to cost $20 billion. Pregnant dog vet calls cops. The vet sees them. He says those aren't puppies. What? Defied all veterinary. This little approached motherhood for the first time, including actual birth. The high stress yet. Aftermath truly stunned. How? What? Miracle or something more detaining. He delivered a mysterious surrounding Lola's unique birth. What set it apart? What was so exceptional? Okay, but all the barks and whimpers veterinary contemplated. Okay. What is it? Marcus changed his focus, putting aside his thoughts. He didn't realize that they were an interruption to breaking the usual. Marcus jumped up once dog was now panting and whining. He swept her. Okay. But he could. I watched some leopard cams while live streaming. Nice. He wanted to make sure everything was going smoothly, but he knows. He said, "I get concerned." What is it? It doesn't say. This is clickbait, and I'm getting ticked off about it. Oh, she did give birth to 12 puppies, so why would he call the cops? Marcus uncovered an even more surprising detail. Okay. Stroking the glass, the upbeat mood took a sharp turn when Marcus and his assistant checked the puppies. Something had slipped their notice, and the moment of horror unfolded. The room was echoed cheers suddenly hushed, revealing the unexpected twist. In the midst of the celebration, a challenge was discovered emerged. They're trying hard, promising, but what? I'm getting pissed off reading this. even... Okay, I'm done. I'm done with this. This is so dumb. Why did I just get caught into reading that? I don't know why I just read that whole thing. That's dumb. Live signs. Let's see. Is there anything good? Oh, well. Well, I got some stuff I gotta do. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you haven't checked out the Discord yet, again, I'll put the link in chat one more time if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I will probably be on later tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.